Okay, so starting part 2, we're going to pick up from where we stopped in the last video, where we deleted the text from both text views. For the next slide, and I already did this here to save us some time, so I just re-enter the code from this slide. Okay, yeah, make sure you type everything correctly. This should all be working fine. Now let's go to detail activity so we can get it to start. And first, something important here. Um, I created this the first time in the wrong place. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to remove this from where it is and add it to onCreate. Then it's gonna work. So remember to do that if you followed my video before. Okay, second thing, let's do what it says here. And we are going to test the app by using a fixed ID. So we're going to load our workout fragment with a fixed ID instead of getting this dynamically as we'll do in the future, just see if it is working. That's actually how I figured out that line was in the wrong place before. Okay, so you can see that now it's running, it loads the workout one. If I just change the number here and run it again, it's going to load a different one. Okay, so with 0 I was loading workout 1, with number 2 I'm working loading workout 3. Good, so that's good, this is what we wanted to happen so far. Let's check the next slide. So we're going to have now start working with list fragments. So this is a fragment that doesn't need an XML layout, so to make things easier. So let's create it. So let's go to our project, new fragment. So I create this as a normal fragment. I'll remove the create layout and leave the rest as it is. I'll just call it workout list fragment. Okay. So we're doing this to keep as it was before. We could probably do that in an easier way. I would just change it a little bit. So to follow the instructions here, so our next slide. Now that we created it, let me move this. Good. So what I have to do is I have to change from fragment to list fragment. And I'll have to Alt-Enter to import this. Good. And now we're going to have to work with our onCreate method to make it match this one here. Sorry, our onCreate view method, this one here. So public view, onCreate view, layout inflator, view group container, bundle saved instance, that's fine. So let's just remove all that. That's it. So now what I have to do is get the our content inside the list, the our list fragment. So let me just see here if we have any practice. Okay, so here we have the theory for that. Read this carefully. I'm just going to move on and see how it works. So create Vil. Okay. Okay, so here I'm creating an array that's going to have it's an array for strings that's going to store all the workouts we have, the names of the workouts. What I'm doing here is setting it the number of items we're going to have. That is the number of items we have in the class. Oh, of course. Okay, now it's right. So what we're doing here in the second step, we're having a loop that's going to go into our workouts array inside workout, and it's going to just get the name. So for each of the items in here, it's going to get the name and set it inside this array of names here. Okay, so we are just copying the content from that array to this array. So now let's do our adapter. Later get context. Droid. Simple list item 1 and names. Just put it here to make it organized. So I create an adapter. I'm going to set list adapter here. Good. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide then. So now we're going to go to the activity main. So we delete the symbol is in a bad place. Good. So delete the button and click the tab text the text tab of the layout. Okay, so let's go to activity main. Okay, remember that we are not going to really use this button. Instead, we're going to have a list of workouts here. So the button goes away, and we're going to get into our text for our layout. Now, careful here, this is just as bad as working with the manifest. It's hard, it doesn't, so Android Studio doesn't show us so much the errors when we make mistakes here, so pay double attention. Okay. So we are going to start by deleting everything. And we're gonna have this. Okay, so it's throwing me an error because I still need to add more things here. This shouldn't continue once I'm finished. If it does, it means something's wrong. XMLNS. Okay, let me start. With the error it's throwing me first. Let me set both the width and height, which are the last things we have there. Okay, now this looks weird. Let me fix the order for that. I'm going to set to match parent. Layout. Okay, good. Now I'm cleared with the error message. Let me add the rest of the line. And I'm going to choose my workout list fragment for this. Okay, everything working fine. It has a fragment here. Theoretically, this should be working. Let's try it. That's it. Okay, so just as we wanted, we have our list of workouts showing here with all the items we created before. So that's good news. We're almost there now. So now we have the workout details and we have the list with the names. We're just going to be connecting them. To do that, we're going to use an interface. And yeah, that's a bad pun. Hope you enjoyed it. Right. So let's see how we're going to be implementing this. So we go to workout list fragment. Okay, so I'm still in the class outside any method. So here's what where I'm going to do that. So interface, listener. Right. Good. So we created an instance of our interface now. And we're going to add a method to get this reference. Righty. Okay. So theory, read this carefully, make sure you understand it. And let's add one more override and a method here. That's it. Okay, with that, we should be ready with this part. We go back to main activity. And we are going to implement the interface we created. So, public class main activity extends app_compat activity. That's fine. We're just going to add this second part, saying that it implements workout list fragment dot listener. Okay. Error. Fine. It was expected. So let's implement that on the next slide. Okay, nothing new here. We're working with intents like we have been forever. Count. Okay, error showing, just as expected in our slide, and ID. So now we fixed that error we had up there. Now we have a new one. Let's fix that by adding this thing here in detail activity. So let's go to detail activity.java and let's set that. Let's see. I just set that inside on create. I'm not sure. I didn't detail before where it should be. Let's see if that works. I'm pretty sure this couldn't be here, so let's leave it outside. Yes. So this has to be outside on create, so right after you open the class. Let's go back to main activity, just make sure. Yes, now it's working. Good. So let's go back to detail activity. Now that thing is working. We had this here. We are going to delete this line and okay. Remember, the idea of this line is that I'm creating this variable called workout ID, and it's storing the ID that comes from the intent. Now I'm just going to be setting this to my fragment. So I'm going to use frag set workout ID and use the variable I just created. If I did everything correctly, this should be working now. Let's take a look and see how it is. And that's it. Okay, so once I click each of my workouts, it is going to show the correct description there. Okay, in your own version, add some more text to the workout class so you can see it working a little bit more. But that's it. So this would work even if we have pictures, pretty much like we did with Starbus, and that's it. Okay. Remember, as I said before, we are not implementing the different layouts here, but I'll add the PDF to Google Classroom so you guys can use it. Okay. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.